Hello and welcome to ACS Golf, inside in the warmth tonight rather than being outside videoing, because number one, in the UK it gets dark around 3:30, so you can't film outside, and number two, it's about -3 out there at the moment, which don't normally get down here south of England, so it's very cold, so I'm not in here by the fire in the warmth. Now today we're looking at this, the Titleist 917 F2. Now, the reason we're looking at this is it caught my eye. So, as you know from a previous video, I tested a Nike 7-wood, the Sasquatch. Now, it's a very old club, really good, don't get me wrong, but the size of the head was very small. And when you're looking down at it as a high handicap, such as myself, you want that confidence. So I wanted a bigger head. Now, so I just kept on looking through the market on eBay to see if I could find decent 7-wood that I could replace it with. And this is where this came in. So I found this online. It is 2016. Well, it came out in the end of 2016, so newer. And also I managed to pick it up for £45, that's not including postage, on eBay. Now, that's a great deal. I'm sorry, but for a Titleist club that's, 2016, 2017, that is fantastic. So just to give you a bit of info about the Titleist N917 F2, basically there was two out that year. It was a 917 F2 and a 917 F3. The F3 being the more sort of player fairway wood, so more low spinning, easier to shape, etc. And then the F2 was the more forgiving type. Now the models that turned into this next was the TS, and then we had the TSIs, and now we're on the TSRs. To go into the technology in here, I'll read it off their actual website. So we have SureFit CG, which is there, you can see, allows the CG to be moved from a back heel position to a forward toe position through interchangeable weights, optimizing spin, launch, and conditions for every player. And I've actually taken the weight out already. So you've actually got this inside here. Titleist were doing it quite often around the time. This one's a neutral one, thank God. But you could get a draw bias one or a fade bias where the weight would actually be moving. And that would slot in there. I already took it out before viewing, or you'd be watching me screwing it for about half an hour and trying to get it out. Next thing, you have the SureFit hosel. Our industry-leading SureFit hosel offers 16 independent loft and lie settings that help create a more constant and optimized ball flight through precision fitting. Obviously, they're trying to get you to fit here, and there you go. There it is. Got A1, etc. As always, with the majority of clubs, they're all quite similar, but I really do quite like this. Here you can increase the loft by 1.5 degrees, which I think is great. So this is actually 21, but could go up to 22.5. You could decrease it by 0.75 degrees. And what I like about this SureFit is a lot of clubs, you can increase the height, you can decrease the loft, so you can increase the loft and decrease the loft. But the issue is a lot of the time that actually closes the face and changes the lie of the club. So it can make it more draw bias or more fade bias. Now with this, you can increase the loft, but it doesn't actually change the bias of the club, which I really like. Obviously you can change it. You can go to, the lie can change by 1.5 degrees, which makes it more draw bias to help you with the slice, or can decrease by 0.75 degrees for more fade bias. So it gives you that option as well, but I like the fact that you don't automatically have to be more draw bias. For example, my PXG driver that I've done a review on, please do check that out, and which is currently in my bag, the new one for this year. If you increase the loft, which I have done this winter, and more try and get more height on the ball, it basically actually closes the club face because it changes the lie, which I not necessarily want all the time, to be honest. I can be a little bit of a slicer, but I'm not a huge slicer, so it does annoy me a bit that that's the only option with it, and that's what I really like about this. It is great, and this is in the modern as well, I would like to say. So my TSI 2, which I have here, which is in my bag, 3-wood, has the same hosel, so they kept that through. Now they've also got active recoil channel 2.0, so improved channel with elastomer insert for increased speed and lower spin, sorry. So there you go, right at the front of the club. A lot of the clubs have this in there. I know TaylorMade have something very similar in the front. Variable thickness, and finally variable thickness face insert creates more speed around the perimeter of the face for more distance on off-centered hits, so more forgiveness. Now, looks wise of the club, let's just show you that right now.
So here's a look at the club. There's a Sure Fit weight there. I mean, it's just a very nice, basic looking club. Nothing too glary on the top there, just a nice alignment aid in that sort of more matte grey rather than black, which they sort of went from black and then to grey and then they've gone back to black again. I like the red underneath. It's just a good looking club.
So as you can see, it's a nice looking club. I mean, it's a grey mat. They changed it, so previously it's always black, and if you go back to my TSI I have, it's now black. Now, if you look at the size differences as well of the clubs, you know, I will say this is still smaller than the TSI 2. The TSI 2 is in the middle of the range. You have the TSI 1, which is more forgiving when it comes down to fairway woods, and the TSI 3, which is more the player's one. And this is supposed to be the more forgiving model, but yet it is still a little bit smaller than what I'd say the new TSI 2 is. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to the course. Not the course, let's get to the range at Silvermere. Let's give that a watch and let's then discuss the figures and why I think you should be looking out for this in the second-hand market.
So straight into numbers here. On average, flat carry 185 yards, total distance 208 yards, ball speed 128 miles per hour, launch angle 13 degrees, and height 63 feet. Now this is perfect. This is exactly what I want this club to be, because the idea for me is it replaces my 3 hybrids, so the total distance is roughly the same, the ball speed is roughly the same, even though the hybrid is actually 19 degrees and the 7 wood's 21 degrees. Because the reason for this is because even though the 7 wood is a higher degree, because of this, obviously the size of the club head and obviously the longer shaft, you're going to get the same ball speed you would with a lower lofted club. Now, one thing I'll say about this 7 wood for me, comparing it to my TSI 2, which is more modern and which I currently have in the bag as well, is more of a 4 wood at the moment. The feel was very similar. I mean, personally for me, I can't really tell the difference. Forgiveness wise, again, they were very similar as well. So both forgiving clubs. I will say if you've got a slower swing speed and you want even more forgiveness than popping in the air, and you're looking at Titleist fairway wood, maybe try and see if you can get a TSI 1 or TS1 on a good deal. It's just a lovely club, really, and you know, I'm really happy with the performance. The ball popped in the air, it was perfect. What can I say? Really happy with the performance of the club. Did really well. Exactly what I would expect it to do, exactly what I would expect my TSI to do, I feel like, if I had it in that 7 wood setting. Now, 225 total distance, 202 carry, that's when I really went for it and got ball speed 134. Now, that might actually really be a bit too much than I was hoping for, but on average, as I mentioned, 189 carry, 202 total distance, ball speed around 126. It's perfect. You know, that's exactly what I want for this. I want this club with the 7 wood in 21 degrees to be pretty much what my 3 hybrid would be, 19 degrees. Now, my 3 hybrid is the same sort of thing. We'll get over that 200 yard mark, but the carry on it will be about 10 yards shorter. So it'll be probably about 170 yards, 175 yards carry. Now, and what makes this so appealing is because of that carry. Now, yes, in the summer, I would probably say maybe with the launch angle of my hybrid probably go a little bit further because it'll be launching lower and it'll keep on rolling. But in winter, which we're very much so over here now at the moment, it means that having that total carry means that the ball will go further than my hybrid, because my hybrid will stop and get caught up in mud, will get wet, and will basically stop. So having something like that, which really does go through the air and get the carry, means I can go over obstacles. It just adds another dimension to my game. It really makes me always say, if you're a high handicapper, mid handicapper, or even a low handicapper, do try a 7 wood. Enough of us do not try a 7 wood. We always think, all right, 3 wood, 5 wood, and then we'll go down to hybrid or long irons. 7 wood is a great option just for that carry. Now, for me, and the reason why I think this is a great option, so the 917, is because it looks good. Personally, I think it's a really nice club. I think that's quite a nice novelty. It's very much around sort of the same price of the items around the same time. So you've got TaylorMade. I mean, I've actually got up here, say, off Golf Bidder, which is the big one. So the Titleist 917 I'm looking at the moment, F2, 2017, exactly the same price as the TaylorMade M2. You know, there obviously the Cobras will be a bit cheaper, but the Cobras F8, F7 weren't exactly quite there they are now. And then you get up to M1s, which is more expensive. And then you start getting into the Callaways, where you got the Great Big Bertha, which is normally 100 quid, so a couple of quid more. And then you go further up and in the pings, the G400, sorry, which I had, and I think are great clubs. Second-hand market, you're looking at £112 above. You know, on eBay, if you can find one of these on eBay, between that £50 to £80 mark or below, I think you'll be really happy with it, to be honest. You can find it for £50. It's an absolute steal. Even like the 3-wood or the 5-wood. You know, very simple clubs, very aesthetically pleasing, personally. I mean, the weight that goes in there, do make sure you get a picture of what the weight is. Obviously, if you're someone who's a big slicer or someone like that, if you end up buying one of these and the weight's actually more set up for fade, you know, the best you can do is probably put it back into neutral by moving it to more draw bias, but then you're sort of counteracting what you want. You'd want it more draw bias. So if buying it off eBay or Golf Beater or anything like that, do try and work out what is in here and what weight's in here, because when you first purchase a brand new, you normally get two. Obviously in the second-hand market, people tend to lose them, etc., etc. So do check to see what's in there. And that's it. I think they're a great club for 50 quid, £45 I bought it for, absolute bargain. You know, it's in and out of the bag at the moment, depending on where I play. Very happy with it. Forgiveness, as I mentioned during the video as well, is spot on for me. Like I said, there was a few balls maybe where I didn't get the performance I wanted. I didn't mention in the video actually, but for example, I hit 182 total carry, but it still went 165 yards, you know, 126 miles per hour. And that was just me hitting it not well. So it came out as a bullet, but it still came out and it still had that ball speed. So, and then one where I, clocked it right at the top, ball speed right down 115, but total distance 170. So it wasn't that bad. And believe me, like I said, my averages there, the best one, 202, when I really went for it, total carry, flat carry. And then the lowest was about 180. It's a very forgiving and great club. So there you go, Titleist N17F2. Do look out for them if you're looking for a new fairway wood, you're looking for an upgraded one you've had for a good few years, or you want to look for a 7-wood or 5-wood to put in the bag. Good value, top quality as Titleist always is, and worth looking out for. So there you go. Now, if you like the video, please do give it a like. Obviously, please do subscribe to the channel, and do comment below if you play a Titleist fairway wood. What do you play? Do you play the TSI? Do you play the TS? Or have you actually gone out and purchased a TSR? It'd be great to hear from a few of you guys. If one of you have brought that, how you find it. So thank you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.